Welcome to Stories I Didn't Tell Last Sunday. Hi, I'm Doug McAllister, your host and your storyteller. And this is the weekly podcast from Journey Fellowship Church in Slidell. We are jf.church on the web, or you can download the Journey app from your app store. Type in Journey Fellowship Church in the search bar and download it today with our compliments. This is Stories I Didn't Tell Last Sunday, episode number 28. The title of today's story is The Songwriter. David was like every other single parent trying to raise 3 kids alone. His patience was tested every day, and he often wondered how they would survive. The story starts way back in 1958 when David, a wannabe songwriter, was trying to make it in the music world, hold on to his house, and keep his job, but was failing at all 3. If he could write just one hit song, David thought, that would change everything. Just when it seemed things were at their worst, a friend of Dave's, who had 3 sons, dropped them off at Dave's house one day and never came back to pick them up again. Dave struggled to take care of his new charges and hold his life together, but he fell further and further behind. David's landlord threatened to evict them all, but Dave wouldn't give up. He didn't know it at the time, but his destiny would soon revolve around those 3 little boys. Dave invited his girlfriend Julie over to his home for brunch one day and to meet his new family. Well, the 3 boys ruined the brunch date, and Julie made a quick exit, and David was left behind again. Later that day, while alone in their room, the 3 boys would try to write a song to make it up to Dave. Little did they expect, but that song would become Dave's first hit record and would start a career that has now lasted for 64 years for Dave and his 3 sons. You may have heard of that song. It's called Witch Doctor, and you probably know the band as Dave and the Chipmunks. Yeah, Dave and the Chipmunks. Of course, Dave is Dave Seville, and the Chipmunks are Alvin and Simon and Theodore. Well, that's the fantasy backstory to this kids' pop music superstar group and how that singing group was born. It was the brainchild of a man named Ross Bagdasarian. This story was born in his imagination when he was a struggling songwriter in the 1950s. The Chipmunks, of course, are an American animated virtual band created by Ross Bagdasarian for a novelty record that he produced in 1958, a one-off idea. The group consists of 3 singing animated anthropomorphic chipmunks named Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. They're managed by their human adoptive father, David Seville, known as Dave. And over the last 6 decades, Dave and the Chipmunks have garnered 2 #1 singles, won 5 Grammy Awards, have 4 top 10 albums, and 3 certified platinum albums. The Chipmunk Song is one of the best-selling singles of all times, at 5 million physical copies, a record that probably will never be broken because now we're living in the digital age. They went on to create multiple television series, specials, movies, and a host of licensed products and toys. Recently, in late 2021, Bagdasarian Productions announced that they would soon be selling all of the Chipmunks properties for a record $300 million. And to think it all started because of a struggling songwriter took in 3 orphan boys to rescue them, but as it turns out, they rescued him. And that is the story that I didn't tell last Sunday. As I close today on this Christmas season, I'm going to be telling Christmas stories between now and Christmas week. And this story is special to me because it reminds me of my own childhood. I want to say thank you today to my oldest sibling, my sister Mary, who has now gone on to be with the Lord. But my earliest memory of Christmas is in 1969 when my older sister Mary, at that time she was about 17, she bought me a record of the Chipmunk song. And that first memory that I have of Christmas is listening to the Chipmunks sing with my sister and family all close by. A memory that I still hold dear today. So thank you for that Christmas memory, my sweet sister. And thank you, Dave and Alvin and Simon and Theodore. And Merry Christmas to you all. And if Dave were here today, he'd probably say, Alvin, Merry Christmas from all of us here at Stories I Didn't Tell Last Sunday.